Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadankitam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutam Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunadanitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranavami Hari Priye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna Hare Bol, how are you? Hare Krishna Bol. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. How are you all?
What was the event yesterday? There was an event.
Narsimha Chaturdashi. Yes. Shri Narsimha Jaya Jaya Narsimha Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narsimham Vishanam Bhadram Muchur Namamyaham Narsimha Kavacham Vakshe Pralade Noditam Pura Sarva Raksha Karam Punyam Sarvo Padruvanashanam Sarva Sampat Karam Chaiva Sarga Moksha Pradayakam Saitva Narasimham Devesham Hema Simhasanastitam Vibudasyam Trinayanam Sharadindu Samaprabham Lakshmalingita Vamangam Vibhuti Rupashritam Chaturbhujam Komalangam Sarnakundala Shobhitam Sarojita Shobhito Raksham Ratnakeyuramudritam Taptakanchana Sankasham Pita Nirmala Vasanam Indrajasara Maulista Suhan Manikya Diptibihi. Sorry, let's stop. Yes, it will be good. So yeah, it was very nice. Lord Narasimhadev is our protector. There are so many pastimes of Lord Narasimhadev. Mayapur, when ISKCON temple was newly being built, the local dacoits and Naxalites, West Bengal, they came to know, okay, these people might be having a lot of money, let us go and get something, whatever we get. And they used to attack, and they used to come and steal, and then sometimes they would even come with the guns, because Naxalites, they'll have guns. They would demand money and all that. Then Prabhupada suggested that, advised that Lord Narasimhadev should be installed, so that Lord Narasimhadev will protect the devotees and destroy the miscreants. And for that, they especially went to South India. The devotees went to South India, all the different places, and they wanted, they were asking for the deity for Lord Narasimhadev to be carved. And what they are saying is the Narasimhadev deity should be like a Ugra Narasimha. And then when they said, whenever they go and they tell this to everyone, they would say, oh my God, we can't actually do this. Ugra Narasimha is very powerful, and we can't even carve Ugra Narasimha. We need special permission, like that they would say. And finally, I think one of Shankaracharya, one of the Pitas, Adipati there, he gave permission for this Narasimhadev to be carved. And he said, don't worry, you do it, and then ISKCON people will take care of it. So there's big story actually. Anyway, I'll tell the story some other time. But anyway, they bought Narasimhadev back and then they installed in Mayapur. And since then, no one actually dared to enter there. Because Narasimhadev is right in front of the entrance. So anyone who's about to enter, they would actually see Narasimhadev. And he's actually in the Ugra form, Ugra Narasimhadev, the Narasimhadev that comes out of the pillar. So, and then that is the time when Narasimhadev is really, really angry. So he's just coming out of the pillar, and then, but then Mayapur is such a place that where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing this Audarya feature. Audarya. So for devotees, Lord Narasimhadev in Mayapur, even though he is in the Ugra form, he actually shows the Audarya feature for devotees. So that's why and there's so many stories. One day we'll discuss about that. So initially no one was ready to actually worship also. They were all scared because they said only brahmacharis should worship Narasimhadev, Ugra Narasimha. And then Hare Krishna Mataji. And then so no one was ready to worship. They were scared to go near him. And then one Italian devotees, twin brothers, Pankaj Angrai Prabhu and so they started worship, and then slowly it continued. Anyway, so we'll start today's class. So I was just thinking about in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about all these things. Lord Krishna speaks about Karma Yoga, speaks about Jnana Yoga, speaks about Ashtanga Yoga, meditation, and then he speaks about Bhakti Yoga. So, Karma Yoga is performing one's activities, as per rules and regulations, and then trying to please the Supreme Lord. Then Jnana Yoga is increasing the knowledge about the Supreme Lord. And then Ashtanga Yoga is meditating on the form of the Lord, meditation. And then and then of course Bhakti Yoga. But it's amazing, Bhakti Yoga actually encompasses all these three. It encompasses karma. See, today was Friday, you just finished your work, you're all coming in the car to attend this program. So that itself means you are actually performing Karma Yoga. Mataji was cooking so nicely for all of us. So she's actually doing Karma Yoga. And then we all sit here and then we are doing nice kirtan. So that nice kirtan, it's actually worshipping just like meditation. We are meditating on the Lord. So that is Ashtanga Yoga. What does the yogis do? They meditate. And we are also meditating when we are doing kirtan. We are meditating on the sound, vibration, on the Lord. And then there is Jnana Yoga. We listen to this class and we understand about the opulence, knowledge about Lord. So that is Jnana Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga, when we perform Bhakti Yoga, we are actually automatically doing all the other yogas. So Bhakti is actually the foundation for everything. Without Bhakti, no other yogas are useful. So this is the beauty of Bhakti. Actually, that's why it is said, devotional service, not just devotion, devotional service is actually called as Bhakti Yoga. So there is one more higher principle, Anya vilashita shunyam jnana karmani anamrutam ankulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttamam. So this is actually the definition of the whole, or we discuss about it anyway later. So Anyavilashita Shunyam. So not expecting. See, this is like the higher stage, of course. Not expecting anything, and then Jnana, Karma, Adi Anavrutam. So forget about all this speculative knowledge, and karma means if I do this, what do I get? If I do this puja, what do I get? All this. So giving up all this and performing devotional service. So that is the Bhakti Yoga. So anyway, today we'll continue and we'll finish off with about the Supreme Lord. So we spoke about different aspects of Supreme Lord. I thought I wanted to have a small quiz or something, but I thought, okay, maybe let me finish this section, and next week we can have a quiz on all the topics that we have covered. So that way I get a feedback. I understand what, because I can tell so many things. I've been learning, hearing, but then whether it is practical for you, whether you are able to understand anything. So for me to get a feedback, I should actually know. So next week we'll do that. But today we'll finish up with the Supreme Lord and its features. And after that, we can go to the next section called Karma, which is also a big section. The Supreme Lord will, there's just a couple of slides we need to cover, but no, it's actually changed again. It shows only on one place. Okay. So this we have seen all these slides. Ahara Nidra Bhayamaitunamsha. Real problems of life. And then the inhibitors to eternal happiness. So we all understand why, what are the things that are actually affecting us, because ultimately we are all trying to get happiness. So where do you get this knowledge? We don't get this knowledge by going to any grammar schools or going to any universities or going anywhere else. We get all this knowledge only from our scriptures. So that's why we need to actually read our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. No university actually teaches the science of soul or reincarnation. These days, few universities they are offering some subjects and all that. But the problem with those universities is the professors who teach all of them, they don't even believe what they are talking. They don't have faith. They only talk on the academic level. So then, if someone doesn't have faith on what they are speaking, then it won't actually get to your heart. You don't actually. So that's why Prabhupada actually says that to hear this knowledge from people who are not devotees, it's like drinking a milk which is touched with poison. So when some poison is added to a milk, it's no longer considered a milk, it actually becomes poison. Similarly, anyone speaking Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam or any Harikatha, you just go and listen because we think, okay, he's after all speaking Harikatha. But then it's actually is as good as milk that's been affected, mixed with poison. So, and then we have seen this definition of God, Sarvakarna Karanam, supreme controller, supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer. I used to study in that St. Gabriel school in our 10th St. Gabriel's. So there used to be, we used to have brothers, brothers, and some schools have sisters or something. But our schools we have only brothers. They used to have girls' school, they would have sisters. So all the sisters teach in girls' school, all the brothers teach in boys' school. But they would say God is three O's. What is that? Omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. So similar thing here. And then four defects we are seeing, and then three ways of acquiring knowledge. We are seeing this: Pratyaksha Praman, Anuman Praman, Shabda Praman, and test of authority that doesn't change. Yeah. So this we have seen all this. I just want to go to this one slide. This we have seen the universe. So how the 14 planetary systems they come. So Brahma is on the top, on the lotus, and then Brahma does tapasya for 1000 celestial years, and then the Lord gives his darshan to him, and then the Lord gives him summarized knowledge in 4 verses. It's called Chatushloki Bhagavatam, and that from that 4 verses, Lord Brahma understands everything, and then he creates the whole universe. See, so there's 14 planetary systems: Satyalok, Tapolok, Jnanalok, Maharlok, Swarlok, Bhuvarlok, Bhurlok, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. So there's upper planetary system and there's lower planetary system. And there is middle planetary system. So where does Bhumandala come in? Any idea? Bhumandala, our place where we live.
Middle, maybe. Middle.
Yeah, it is middle. Yeah. And Bhumandala is called as Karma Bhumi. Because what happens is these 14 planetary systems, the upper planetary systems and lower planetary systems, who are the people in these planetary systems are the ones who are actually enjoying their whatever pious credits they have performed. So you might wonder why there is upper planetary system and then there is lower planetary system. So there is lower planetary system is called Bila Swarga. So Bila Sarga, why lower? And also that is Sarga. Why is Sarga? So that's interesting because in the world there's two types of people: people who believe in God and people who doesn't believe in God. So people who believe in God also in them they could be good people. They may not believe in God, but they might be very kind, they might be generous, they might be, all these good things. But ultimately they think they won't believe in God. Of course, Srimad Bhagavatam says that if someone is not a devotee, then it is no point, whatever, how much good activity he does, end of the day it becomes useless. Rather than that, someone who is doing a little bit of devotional service is better than a completely perfect karmi. Just like any top businessman or anyone, he's excelled in his profession, excelled in his life, everything. Still, a new devotee who just starting is better than that person. Why? Because all the pious credits, Neha Vikramanashosti Patyavayo na Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. See, the biggest fear in human life is what is going to be our next life. Because what is the population on earth at the moment? Any idea? Amit Prabhu, you are in analytics and all that. You're good with figures. And then recently India has overtaken China. And then not everyone is happy about it, but still, whatever is supposed to happen, that will happen. Anyway, it's about 7 billion something like this. 7 billion human beings. But then, if you compare that, how many ants, how many insects, just take ants, how many ants might be there in Rockbank suburb? Could be millions and billions. And then what about the whole Australia and all the countries? And so that's only ants. Then what about other animals? So what are the chances? 7 billion human beings, and the rest everything is all the different species. So if we are not careful in whatever we perform, whatever activities we do, if we become miserly, kripana, then the nature thinks, okay, what is the point? Anyway, he has not utilized his human life. If someone is always eating and drinking and sleeping, then the nature means under the supervision of the Lord, nature awards him a body. Oh, anyway, he's sleeping too much, so let us give him the body of a bear or something, polar bear or something that sleeps for months together. If someone is very too much into money and all these things, stingy, not giving anything to his family members, then next life, what does he become? He'll become a snake or a scorpion. So Shastra actually gives all these things. Depending on our activities in this life, what is the next life going to be? It actually gives everything very clearly. So coming back here, why we have upper planetary and lower planetary? Because so people who don't believe in God, still they have done some good karma activity. Then they will go to this Bila Sorga, lower planetary systems, where there is actually no sunlight. But materialistically they are much higher. And then they just enjoy life there, like that. And then finally also there is in Patala, there is also the abode of Yamaraj. So Yamaraj, and there's a Pitruloka, and then Yamaraj, and then all the different hellish planets also there. So, and we know what happens in Yamloka. So it's day of judgment. So, and then upper planetary systems, Maharloka, Janaloka, Sapa. So basically, in the middle planetary system is the only place where people perform activity and get good or bad karma. And then, as explained in Bhagavad Gita, what is that? People who perform, people in the mode of goodness, they go to the upper planetary system. People in the mode of passion, they stay on the middle planetary system. And people in the mode of ignorance, they go back to the lower planetary system. So, Madhye Tishtanti Rajasa, Jaganya Gunavutista, Ado Gachati Tamasa. So, I was not able to remember the first one.
Chapter 14.
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसा जगन्या गुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छति तामसा. Thank you, Gauri. So, and then also you can see Dhruvaloka. Dhruvaloka is called as pole star, and all the planets actually revolve around Dhruvaloka. Like he's on the top, and they just anyway, the planetary system is very complicated. We'll go into it some other time. We'll deal with something called Vedic cosmology. Okay, so just we'll go further. And then we discussed about these 6 categories of avatars, Purusha avatars. So how Supreme Lord comes in different avatars. Purusha avatar, Leela avatar, Guna avatar, Manvantar avatar, Yuga avatar, Shakti Avesh avatar. So what is that? Anyone? Amit Paul, Amitabh Bachchan, how many movies he made? Like Lavaris, Naseeb, what is it? Other movies and others? Karma, what is it? Sholay. Huh?
Dawn. Silsila.
Dawn, Silsila, what else?
Bhagwan.
Bhagwan.
Shahenshah. So many movies. And in every movie, Amitabh Bachchan is a different character. He is hero, but he's a different character. Similarly, so many different avatars, but in every avatar, Supreme Lord is there. And every time he doesn't do the same thing, he does something different. So that is Lord Krishna. So he comes as Purusha avatar, he becomes Vishnu. So Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Karanodaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So from Vishnu, all the universes they emanate, and within that one Vishnu, again one more Vishnu enters, and then within that one universe, one Vishnu starts maintaining it, and then one more Vishnu actually becomes Paramatma, and also into every atom of the universe, and it goes into every Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this is Purusha avatars. Then Leela avatars, Matsya, Varaha, Narasimha, Kurma, all these avatars. And then Guna avatars. What are Guna avatars? No. Guna avatar is three gunas: goodness, passion, ignorance, sattva, rajas, tama. So, passion, in the mode of passion is Brahma, and then mode of goodness is Vishnu, and then mode of ignorance is Lord Shiva. And then Manvantara avatars. So within one day of Brahma, so many Manus, Prajapatis and Manus, they come. They are the rulers of the universe. And then Chakshusha, Manvantara avatar, and all these Manus. So that is those avatars. Again, Krishna comes as. And then Yuga avatars. Every Yuga there is a Yuga avatar. So Rama, Krishna. And then Shakti Avesh avatar. Beings who are empowered, specially empowered to do like Parishuram, Pruta Maharaj. So these are all Shakti Avesh avatars. So these are all different categories of avatars of Supreme Lord. So yeah, we've seen this. Now this is one verse I wanted to actually talk today about. So Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a verse. What is that? Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabjate. So learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So this, let us discuss this one. So is God a person, or is not a person, or whether God is Nirgun Nirakar or Sagun Sakar? What is God? Any ideas? Is he a person, or no? He doesn't have any form.
He has a person, he's a person, has a form.
He's got both. He is person, also he does not have any personality. He is both, because if God doesn't have one characteristic, then that means he is actually lacking something. But the personality is actually the complete feature of the Lord. So that's what here Bhagavatam is saying. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabhyate. So the same Supreme Lord is known as called as in three different forms: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So this Brahman feature of the Lord is the one that doesn't have any form. So what is Brahman? So this gets a little bit technical from here. Just 10-15 minutes. A bit technical. So what is Brahman?
Brahman, universe. Brahmand, that's what I heard.
Brahman is universe, yes.
Brahman.
Brahman is something from which universe came. So Brahman is the primordial substance, the original substance from which all the universes come. So this Brahman actually
Can we say the cosmic energy?
cosmic energy. Yeah, yeah. So this Brahman actually is non-dual. Brahman is non-dual. That means it doesn't have any characteristics. It's very hard to understand. So that's why Shankaracharya said that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. He said Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. He said because only Brahman, because Brahman is the spiritual, energy. And from spiritual energy, all the universes which are material energy, they actually come. So, just to give a simple example, if you see what are these three features, suppose there is sunlight. So, is sunlight same as sun? But sunlight is sun, isn't it? It's because sunlight is coming from sun. And then, so you're sitting in a room and you can see some sunlight coming. And then you understand, okay, sun has risen. And then, so that is called the Brahman feature. So, persuasive, present everywhere. Whereas Paramatma feature is you actually go out and in the sky you see the sun globe. So and then you see okay there is sunlight is coming from the sun. But then when you go out, when you actually go to the planet of sun, it's impossible of course. They said the temperature of the sun planet is like about 17,000 or 17 million degrees or something. But sun is there is Surya Narayana. There is a God, sun God. Right, Krishna Prabhu, please come. So Surya Narayana is the presiding deity of sun planet. So you go to sun planet and you meet the God face to face. So that is actually the Bhagwan feature of the Lord. So let's understand everything. Whatever we see in this material world, I guess, say for example this plastic, resin, plastic, everything. It comes from, where does plastic come from? Something called resin, isn't it? Some trees or whatever. And where does resin come from? Some petroleum products or something. And then where does petrol come from? From the
Fossils.
fossils. That means earth. So we are manufacturing resin, we are manufacturing plastic, we are using petrol, but nobody is manufacturing the actual petrol. We are only extracting it. So similarly, there is suppose if I say Mayank, can you please get me Pacific Ocean? Can you get Pacific Ocean?
In a bucket.
In a bucket? Yeah, true. So you get Pacific Ocean water in some bottles or bucket if they allow so much in the flight. But still, because I want to test what Pacific Ocean is. So you go and get it in a bottle or something. And then I test. And then I see, okay, the salt is this much, so much is this. So can we say that whatever is there in the bottle, it is Pacific Ocean, but it's not actually Pacific Ocean. I mean, like you can't jump into it and डूब के मर जाएगा तो कुछ तो नहीं होगा ना, or you can't take shower. So it is just a particle, but still it can be called as Pacific Ocean. Similarly, all the living entities, including ourselves, we are qualitatively one with the Lord, Supreme Lord, because we are also made up of spirit. But then, quantitatively, we are minute, just like this Pacific Ocean example. So we are just like drops of water in an ocean, in the whole Pacific Ocean. And then also one more thing we need to understand is that even though our individuality is always going to be present, whether you go, it's not that just like Advaita philosophy, they say that you go and merge in Brahman. You go and merge in Brahman, Brahma, what do you call that? Salokya. You go and merge in it and then you lose your form, they say. But imagine, suppose there is a green bird. The green bird goes, flies, and it stops on a green tree. So it's very hard to see that green bird. Sometimes here the parrots are a little bit different, but in India, parrots are green. So some trees like mango trees or something, they might be having like 50, hundreds of parrots. But we can't see them because it's all green. But they are there. Similarly, our individuality is always going to be present. Even though you go and merge in Brahman, still we'll be individuals. So that's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Natvevaham jatunasham natvam neme janadipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam matah param. Never was a time when I did not exist, when you did not exist, when all these kings did not exist. We might be changing our bodies because body is temporary. But the soul, but we'll get a new body. Soul is going to remain the same. So this is Brahman feature. Also, sometimes people do a lot of tapasya and they merge. They want to actually go into Brahman. So in the spiritual world, there is also a place called Brahmajyoti. The Brahmajyoti is actually coming, the effulgence coming from the body of the Supreme Lord. So all these yogis, what they do tapasya and they go into the Brahmajyoti. And then there what happens is they will not feel any inconvenience. So for example, there is no body, but there is consciousness and there is nothing to do. You won't feel any pain, you won't feel any thirst, you just consciousness is there, but there's no activity, nothing to do. Now I remember there is one movie, in that movie, the beginning of the movie is like this. There's a jail, and then the jailer is telling this hero, what's his name, Devanand, I think, he's telling, you have been very nice in the jail, prison, so we are actually releasing you. Now you go and enjoy your life. So Devanand comes out. He says thank you and he comes out. And then he's looking to left, looking to right, but there's no one to receive him. So I didn't know what to do. What should I do? Similarly, you go and merge in Brahman, there is no activity. You don't know what to do. You are happy and blissful sometimes, but then because there is no activity, you don't know what to do. So with your power, you actually come back again to the earth. And then what happens? You will become a Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela, somebody where they do lot of service for humanity. Lot of service. And then again, they get some credit and then they go up. But the cycle is not being broken. So anyway, so that is the Brahman feature. And then,
Sorry, Prabhu. It's a question. In Christian ideology, they don't believe in idols. And this is what I've come across today. And this guy is a... So, in that method, they merge in Brahman, or is that how it is?
yeah, they can go up to Brahmajyoti. And then, because they have done some pious credits. And people who go to Brahmajyoti, they should come back to again material world, Bhuloka, middle planetary system, and they have to find a guru, and then they have to do devotional service, and then they can go back.
Ideally, they want to focus on the light, which is from the Ephesians.
So you might have heard so many people say that, no, like become one with the universe, merge into the universe, and all these words. So, so this is nothing but they are all talking about this Brahman feature, so, which is impersonal. So impersonal feature, what can you do? You feel connected, you feel one in the universe, but then there's nothing else to do. It's just a feeling. You feel nice for a while. Suppose you are put in a big balloon, and then you don't feel hungry or nothing. You won't feel hungry, you won't feel sleepy, or nothing. When there is nothing to do, then what do? You just be in that for a while, because on the earth planet you have gone through a lot of worries, paying mortgages and insurances and all that. But after a while you get bored. What to do? You'll start thinking, how can I get from this place, get away from this place? So that is then so that is the Brahman feature. And then Paramatma. So anyone had this experience of anyone remembers when you first went to the school? Your mother would have actually first day of school. Anyone remembers? It was the mother or father. किसने लेके गया आपको? Father, mother?
ऑटो से गया था सर,
हाँ?
ऑटो से गया था।
First day of school.
So they had lot of confidence on you.
नहीं मेरी बड़ी सिस्टर थी ना, तो उसके साथ चला गया।
Oh, okay.
We are in the same school.
So there is someone looking after you. But when your mother sent you in that auto, you were quite upset. Thinking, I think what's wrong with mommy? Maybe she doesn't love me anymore. मेरे को छोड़ दिया ऐसे ही. She left me like this. But then mother is finding out कैसा, she's asking your sister आज स्कूल में क्या कर रहा था मैं, क्या बोल रही थी. She's keeping track of you. Arena, she's doing that now. And then you become a little bit bigger. And then maybe like intermediate or something, college को जा रहे हो. Then mother completely छोड़ दिया आपको. She never bothered.
नहीं तब वो मुझे कॉलेज छोड़ने गए थे। कहते वापस ना आ जाइयो।
See, because she wanted to make sure, better you are going to college now, you are grown up, you don't pick up any bad habits, cigarette ऐसा कुछ भी मत पियो, or just all these things. तो ठीक है. And then after that graduation. So graduation में मम्मी छोड़ दिया होगा आपको. She will tell you. And then after that you got married. And after you are married, she is not bothered about you.
नहीं शादी से पहले भी बहुत।
So still she will ask when you call, खाना खाया क्या?
Definitely.
What does she ask?
यही खाना खाया और।
Yeah, why? If she is not bothered about you, what does she ask? She is bothered about you. In fact, कभी-कभी फोन में देख के बोलते हैं, अरे इतना क्या
पतला हो गया
क्या बात है? And then नया से अरे मैं तो खाना दे रहा हूँ, क्या बोल रहे हैं? हम बोलते हैं आपका मम्मी क्यों ऐसा बोलता है? So basically the story is mother will never leave us. She's always, even though you become Narendra Modi also, mother is still a mother. So similarly, we are in the spiritual world one day, and then one day we decided that I'll go to material world and I'm going to go there and do all the things that I want to do myself. I want to be like a king and all those things. I want to enjoy myself separately. Then Krishna said, oh, you want to go? go, बोल के बोल देगा. No, he will come with us. He comes with us as a Paramatma. He is accompanying us in every life that we take, every body that we take, dog, cat, rabbit, whatever, still accompanying us everywhere. Why he is doing? Just waiting us to come back. And then what does Paramatma do? Bhagavad Gita is explained, Upadrishta Anumanta. Upadrishta means one who is overseeing. अरे क्या कर रहा है? What is he doing? And then Anumanta is giving, is sanctioning. So whatever activities you are doing, he is watching. So you might be doing something bad or silly and thinking, oh, किसी भी देखा नहीं, चलो भाई हो गया. But then he is watching. Oh, this is a bit shocking, huh? He is watching actually, and then not only watching, he is actually giving the scores. अच्छा बेटा ऐसा हो गया, ऐसा हो गया. So he is watching, keeping track of everything. And then Anumanta, he is giving permission. So then you might wonder, why God does like this? When I do good things, He gives permission, that's okay. When I do bad things, why does He give permission? No? So suppose someone wants to kill somebody, then why does He get sanction? No? God can immediately stop. Or mind, when you're in college days or something, you're looking at some girl or something, then why doesn't God stop you? And say, like robots, no, girl, don't look, turn. Why does Paramatma do that? Because he thinks the reason he came from spiritual world here is he wanted some independence. चलो भाई दे देंगे उनको, let's give him independence and let him do whatever he wants. But then sometimes he'll try to tell you, sometimes you want to do some wrong thing, then suddenly you feel some voice from inside. ऐसा मत करना रे, पागल हो गए क्या? I'm already crazy. Why do you want to do it? Like that, you hear something, some voice saying, and then you immediately stop. Of course, sometimes you won't stop. Also, you say, you hear it, and say, no. I do it only a couple of times. No. Both things happen. So God gives you instructions, gives you advice, but He doesn't force. So that is true love. No? Because He truly loves you, doesn't want to force anything on. He gave you independence, and better, Karlo, you do whatever you want. So that's why it is said, man is the creator of his destiny. Whatever happens in your life, you actually create it. Of course, destiny creates some conditions, some situations. But then in every situation, you have a choice. Or we'll see this more in the next class when we talk about karma. But in every situation in life, you have a choice to make. And depending on the choice that you take, your next destiny is decided. So that is Paramatma. समझ गए ना? Simply, just like in Australia, Melbourne, we have Indian embassy. What does the Indian embassy do? They just keep track of all Indians. Kya ho raha, any problems, anything, and they don't really so much. But anyway, that was supposed to be. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is in spiritual world, but then He's got an embassy in our heart, as a Paramatma, just making sure that okay, he's going okay. So that is the Paramatma future. And Bhagwan future, of course, is the Satyam Param Dhimahi, the absolute truth. So that is the Purna. Bhagwan, we have seen all the definitions anyway, all the characteristics, Bhagwan's 6 opulences, beauty, name, strength. So that is the Bhagwan feature. Any questions or comments so far?
How does the impersonal define Paramatma?
How does impersonalist define Paramatma?
Will they accept it first of all?
Yes. All the Indian philosophers, they accept. The only difference between their acceptance and our acceptance is, unka acceptance is ulta. Means they say Bhagwan is the Bhagwan. They say ultimate reality for them is Brahman. Ultimate reality for us is Bhagwan. Ultimate reality for Advaitavadis is impersonal feature. Ultimate feature for us is a person. Krishna is a person. So, impersonalists, they say, okay, the impersonal Brahman takes the form of Rama or Krishna, Parshurama, when he comes to this material world. He takes that form. And also one more thing they say, and because when the Supreme Lord, impersonal Brahman, taken the form, they are under the material nature. Means they also suffer like normal beings, and they are also bound by the laws of karma. That's their feeling. So that's why they say Bhagwan feature is for them is like the beginning. Paramatma is like the secondary. And then Brahman is the ultimate. So that is totally opposite. They say that everybody is a god. Because Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, they say we are all God. I know I have some relatives, they come and say, I went to meet a relative in the hospital one day. Oh, it's time, kids have come. Went to meet hospital, one of my relatives in the hospital. He got sick, some urinary tract infection or something, he got admitted. And then he went to the hospital. And then there the discussion came. Then on the hospital bed, he was telling that everybody is a god, you are God, I am God, everyone is a god. Only difference is we are not realized that we are God. So one day once you realize that you are God, you will become God. We are all gods only. So that is called impersonal. Mayavadi. So, and also, so there's a little bit more we'll discuss next week. There's two classes called Brahmavadi and Mayavadi. What's the difference between a Brahmavadi and Mayavadi? We'll discuss that next week. But anyway, so this will actually complete our discussion about the Supreme Lord and its features, and then so this is one verse, nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Ete chamsha kala pumcha krishnastu Bhagavan swayam indradi vyakulam lokam rudyanti yuge yuge. All the above mentioned Vishnu, Narayana, etc. are incarnations or either plenary portions or plenary portions of Lord. But Lord Krishna is the only original Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Pavitranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkrutam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge. So we'll stop here. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes, Prabhu.
So in starting, you said mixing slopes or the example of mixing poison with the milk.